Will Shinji run away from his problems again?
Find out right now on Otaku Tonight
Today!
Neon Genesis, the greatest anime known to man, better than Naruto, better than Dragon Ball, better than everything, and more controversial.
I don't know about better for some people, because there are some people who aren't fans, but definitely notorious.
Yes, most people loved it up until the final maybe 3 episodes. Then they're like, what the fuck happened? And tried to threaten the poor creator with death threats and all this other stuff. But yeah, we got some new movies coming out, or a new movie, number 4.
A new movie. Number 4 is scheduled to come out, well, I guess it doesn't have a schedule yet.
No.
I think they guessed sometime 2015, and here we are mid-2015, and still no word on when it's coming out. Best hope is winter, and who knows. I mean, they seem to be getting longer and longer apart.
Well, they've been consistently, coming out every 3 years. So the last one came out in 2009? 12? Yes, that's how 3 years work. 2012.
So we're on our 3rd year, so we should be expecting a wrap-up to the rebuild of Evangelion, which is a retelling of the old tale.
See, this is what I've mentioned a lot of times, is this, tendency to redo anime again and again. And I totally forgot that Neon Genesis did this as well with the rebuild movies. I personally haven't seen any of them, so I don't know if they're any better.
You wait until they finish?
I'm gonna wait till they finish, and then I'll just watch it like it's a Netflix series that came out. So yeah.
Synopsis on the original?
Synopsis? I don't know if
can you handle that?
Not really, because the synopsis of Neon Genesis is so confusing that people still argue to this day about what it's about.
So it covers mecha, right? Robots.
Well, robots. They're.
It has these characters, Evas and Angels.
Evas and Angels.
Those are kind of the good and bad. We have 26 episodes in the series.
Yep.
So it's on the shorter side. And then we have two movie-ishes of redoing the 2 last episodes.
Right. Well, no, the first movie that came out after the series was over wasn't called just Rebuild Evangelion, or it was called something else.
They're right there.
Oh.
Yes.
Derp! It was called Death and Rebirth. That's what it was called. And Death and Rebirth wasn't really like a remade movie. It was just they summarized everything up until the last 3 episodes. And then the last movie, End of Evangelion, was made to replace the last 3 episodes of the series to better fit to what?
The last 2 episodes.
Oh, the last 3 numbers, whatever. But End of Evangelion was supposed to replace the last 2 episodes of the series because apparently nobody liked the ending of the series.
So that was made out of spite.
It was pretty much made out of spite, and I don't know if how often anime directors do that. How often they just listen to the fans and then just give them something just because they're annoyed.
I don't know if there was a choice with that. He was kind of getting death threats about the ending of the first one. So,
well,
what are you going to do?
I personally like the ending because for me, Neon Genesis is a character story. It's all about Shinji. Even though I hate Shinji and his whiny littleness, it's about how he grows and how he pretty much accepts himself and just learns to become happy with himself and with what he's been put through. I guess it's about acceptance and everything. I wouldn't want to ruin the last episode, but there's a lot of this. There's a lot of this in the last few episodes.
Yeah, it takes a turn, which I think is what people got really upset with. Mm-hmm. Takes a dramatic turn from the plot of the story, which people think is the story.
Right.
And I think that just throws people off.
The
story's still there if you think about it, the story that it does finish, but it doesn't finish the story everybody's expecting it to finish.
Right. It's pretty much, leaving all these questions unanswered, like, what are the Avas? What are the angels? Why is this all happening? They just went to, Shinji in his head mostly.
And I think it's that stuff that makes these things so great.
Oh, yes.
It's the unanswered questions.
Yeah.
I think that's been notorious with movies and whatnot. Anything that's ended and it leaves you with more questions than answers, in a good way, not in a bad way.
Right.
I think that makes people want more, and it slowly become a cult classic, and then eventually a legendary film.
Oh yeah, I mean Neon Genesis is still huge. I mean, especially in Japan, there's razors. There's razors in Japan.
You can watch these on YouTube. There's actually chic advertisements of Gendo shaving.
Yeah, it's really weird. Especially, it's really weird to see him without
There's
a beard.
a theme park that we went to.
Yeah. That was called Evangelion World? Yes, that's what it was called. Large, giant, full-scale busts of Unit Zero.
And apparently there's a ride now, too.
At Mount Fuji.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Now, they did start over again with this.
Yes.
They do have the rebuild of Evangelion. You have the first two, which are kind of a recap of some similar stuff that's been in the first series.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings you up to a point, and then the last two take a completely new direction.
And then don't they introduce like new characters as
New
well?
characters.
I know Mari's her name. That's one of them.
She's been pretty popular. So I'm kind of interested to see where it's going to end with this fourth one, since it's a different telling. It's not a retelling, it's a different telling. I think of Brotherhood.
Yeah.
I think of Gurren Lagann when they came out with the movies was a synopsis, but it took a bit of a different telling.
Yeah.
When they did their two movies. So I'm interested to see where it's done, and especially with it being written by the same person who created the original series.
Right.
He gets a second take at doing this after having more experience.
Now the question is he going to go with what the audience wanted, or with what he originally wanted? How is he going to end it, do you think?
And that'll be interesting. Hopefully we'll get it towards the end of this year.
Now, is the fourth one the last one? Do you know?
Supposedly, yes.
Okay.
Supposedly it's a 4-part series. That's the last one. They have a preview for it at the end of the third one, but the preview is rough snippets, so you can't really make
and
much out.
Shinji crying a lot, and like, what? I got a pilot at Ava. My father hates me, mama.
And on that, back to the question that we introduced you with: is Shinji going to run away from his problems? Is he going to go crying home to his mommy at the end of this one?
I think he is. I think he definitely is, and
it's a safe bet. Let us know your thoughts on Twitter. We'll do OTT Ava.
OTT Ava, or Eva, or however you want to pronounce it. I know people pronounce Evangelion, I've heard Evangelion before. But whatever, that's besides the point.
Put it in the comments below.
So yeah, check us out every Thursday. Be sure to subscribe, like this video, and check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and enjoygasm.com. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.